Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my podcast channel. I'm here. I will continue my second podcast material about hudud. Alright. What is the hudud? And what is the different hudud and ta'zir? Okay. In Islam, hudud يعني العقاب الذي عينه في الشارع. والتعزير يعني العقاب الذي لا عينه الشارع ولكن الحاكم الأمر. Both have similarities in terms of punishment. The difference lies in their source. Hudud originates from Sharia, while ta'zir originates from a leader's decision regarding a criminal act committed by someone. So, what is included in hudud case? These include crimes of murder, theft, adultery, drinking alcohol, and others. These crimes have been regulated in how to punish them in Sharia. Hadith about hudud for theft. عن عائشة رضي الله عنها أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: لعن الله السارق يسرق البيضة فتقطع يده ويسرق الحبل فتقطع يده. الحديث رواية بخاري. Translate: Allah curses the thief. He steals an egg and his hand is cut off, and he steals a rope and his hand is cut off. In this hadith, vocabulary يعني لعنه الله means curse here means being distanced from the mercy of Allah. السارق يعني the thief, a person who takes someone else's property secretly and unlawfully. Yasriq, he steals, a present tense verb showing an ongoing or habitual act of stealing. Al-baydah, egg. In our context, this may refer to a war helmet made of iron. Al-habal, a rope. Even a simple item like a rope, if stolen, may lead to the head punishment. Explanation about this hadith يعني highlights how serious theft is considered in Islam. Even if the stolen item is something small or simple, like an egg or a rope, if the condition for hudud punishment are met, such as reaching the nisab, value no doubt involved, then the thief's hand must be cut off. The part Allah cursed the thief means that stealing is not only a legal crime, but also a spiritual offense leading to exclusion from Allah's mercy. The second part of hudud is adultery. The punishment for adultery has been regulated in the Quran, where the category of adultery is divided into two: one muhsan and ghayr muhsan. Each of these acts has a different way of punishment. Namely, the perpetrator of muhsan adultery is sentenced to stoning, while the perpetrator of ghayr muhsan adultery is sentenced to 100 lashes and exile from his village for 1 year. The hadith about adultery is Rasulullah SAW said, خذوا عني قد جعل الله لهن سبيلا البكر بالبكر جلد 100 وتغريب سنة وثيب بالثيب جلد 100 والرجم. The translate is, take this ruling from me, Verily Allah has made a way, a ruling from them, the male and female fornicators, the unmarried with the unmarried, 100 lashes and exile for 1 year, the married with the married, 100 lashes and stoning to death. Explaining of the hadith, khudhu anni, take it from me, meaning accept this ruling from me, as it is revelation from Allah. Qad ja'alallahu lahum sabila. Indeed, Allah has made a way ruling from them, referring to Quran Surah An-Nisa, where previously the punishment for zina was suspended until a clearer ruling came from Allah. In this case, there is different thought in ulama. Yani, is stoning regime still applicable? Majority ulama, there are Syafi'i, Hanafi, Hambali, and Maliki. Rajam is part of authentic sunnah and was applied by the Prophet and the companions. The other, no, it's not applicable. Some modern scholars, they claim it is not the Quran, but this view is weak and rejected by most scholars. And should there be lessing from Rajam? Opinion, last first, then stone. Scholars, some scholars. Explanation, based on the hadith, one lashes and stoning. Stoning only, yakni thought Maliki and many others. The Prophet did not lash Ma'iz or the Ghamidiyah woman, only stoning was applied. Is exile taghrib mandatory? Mandatory. Scholar Hambali Zahiri School. Explanation, explicitly mentioned in the hadith. Optional or disciplinary, ta'zir, Syafi'i and Maliki. Exile depends on the judge's discretion and context. The ruling on drinking khamar is that it is haram to consume based on Surah An-Nisa. Al-ayah, innamal khamru wal maisiru wal ansab wal azlamu rijsun min amali syaitan fajtanibuhu. Nah, previously khamar was permitted. Then one day Umar bin Khattab saw someone praying while drunk, and the person recitation was disturbed. Umar then suggest that khamr should not be consumed before prayer. After that, Surah An-Nisa verse 43 was revealed. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wala taqrabus salata wa antum sukara hatta ta'lamu ma wala taqulu junuban illa abiri sabilin hatta taghtasilu. The punishment for drinking khamar is made by analogy qiyas to the punishment for zina, in order to serve as a deterrent for the offender. For every person, 80 lashes. For a slave, 40 lashes. The Prophet Muhammad SAW said, Allah has cursed them concerning khamr, the one who produces it, the one for whom it is produced, the one who drinks it, the one who carries it, the one to whom it is cared, the one who serves it, the one who sells it, the one who earns from it sell, the one who buys it, and the one for whom it is bought.